A reading from the first letter of Peter, chapter 3, verse 1 through 12. Likewise, you wives should be subordinate to your husbands, so that even if some disobey the word, they may be won over without a word by their wives' conduct when they observe your reverent and chaste behavior. Your adornment should not be an external one, braiding the hair, wearing gold jewelry, or dressing in fine clothes, but rather the hidden character of the heart, expressed in the imperishable beauty of a gentle and calm disposition, which is precious in the sight of God. For this is also how the holy women who hoped in God once used to adorn themselves and were subordinate to their husbands. Thus Sarah obeyed Abraham, calling him Lord. You are her children when you do what is good and fear no intimidation. Likewise, you husbands should live with your wives in understanding, showing honor to the weaker female sex, since we are joint heirs of the gift of life, so that your prayers may not be hindered. Finally, all of you, be of one mind, sympathetic, loving toward one another, compassionate, humble. Do not return evil for evil or insult for insult, but on the contrary, a blessing, because to this you were called, that you might inherit a blessing. For whoever would love life and see good days must keep the tongue from evil and the lips from speaking deceit, must turn from evil and do good, seek peace and follow after it. For the eyes of the Lord are on the righteous, and his ears turn to their prayers, but the face of the Lord is against evildoers. So today we are faced with a challenging reading. Be submissive or be subordinate, wives, to your husbands. Now, somebody told me about this beautiful analogy. They said in a dance, one person must lead. And it is often in this dance the man who leads. But that the role of the man in leading is to glorify the wife. That he is leading, but he is leading in such a way that will make his wife shine, that will make his wife look good. Now, if we look at the text itself, its position in the text is it goes, do not consider yourself citizens, but consider yourself aliens and sojourners in the world. Don't care about earthly power, but rather about heavenly citizenship. Then it talks about slavery. It says, do not be bad when you are a slave, but rather be good, that you might convert your master. And then it talks about wives. And it says that a wife can convert her husband. That she can convert her husband. That he might be won over by their wife's conduct. And it says that what is important is the salvation of the soul. The salvation of the soul. And then he also goes on to say that Christian men should treat their wives with love, that he should honor them. Live with your wives in understanding, showing honor to the weaker female sex, the physically weaker. Since we are joint heirs of the gift of life, so that we are joint heirs. Just because women are physically weaker than men does not mean that women are spiritually weaker than men or intellectually weaker than men. No, Peter says that we are joint heirs of the gift of life. Finally, all of you be of one mind, sympathetic, loving toward one another, compassionate, humble. So he talks to three groups. He talks to Christian women, particularly Christian women with non-Christian husbands. Then he talks to Christian men, and in particular Christian men with non-Christian wives. And then he talks to couples who are both Christian. And so he says, for the couple that are both Christian, live in unity, in humility. Be of one mind, sympathetic, loving toward one another, compassionate, humble. Men, he says, if you are the Christian and your wife is not a Christian, love her, be compassionate with her. Treat her with understanding. Women, if you are the only Christian in the relationship, be chaste, be obedient. Now, why is he saying this? He's saying this for two reasons. First, to keep the marriages together, and second, and more importantly, so that the conversion might happen. Now, I want you to imagine a city that is beginning to have converts. And so there are some women who are converting to Christianity. And these women are converting to Christianity, and these women are debating two different paths. One is, let us work humbly and simply for the conversion of our husband. And the other is, let us work not only for the conversion of our husband, but also for fair treatment for us. So what happens? In the first case, the husband converts. It takes time. In the second case, the husband doesn't convert, but rather he gets angry at Christianity, and he tells his friends, and he tells the governor, and the governor makes a proclamation that women are not allowed to convert to Christianity. And that Christianity is seen as a nuisance because it disrupts families, it disrupts the traditional family order of that time and place. And so what we have is Paul begging them, Peter begging them to think about our primary purpose, our primary mission, which is the conversion of the world and the sanctification of our own souls. And he says, look, we will be much more effective if we do not interrupt the societal order. We will be much more effective if we do not get ourselves in trouble. We will be much more effective if we do not cause unnecessary strife, but rather if we show that we are model citizens who require nothing and give everything. If we are model wives and husbands who require nothing and give everything. If we are model couples who show love and understanding. So that people will say, look at those Christians. They are the ones that we want in charge. They are the ones that we want to live like. I think it's important. It's important for us to see that we do live within a culture. We do live within certain expectations. And that where it is necessary for our faith to undo those expectations, to break them, to cast aside the chains of culture, we should. But any that we can leave in place, we should leave in place so that we can make it as easy as possible for others to find the truth and the love of Jesus Christ.